You're listening to Small Business Talk with Jerry. Sit in on great conversations with entrepreneurs who risk everything chasing the American dream.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is Small Business Talk with Jerry. Today we are here with Shamber and Mike. They own ConAg Trucking out of, is it Rochester? Is it Douglas? Is it somewhere between?
Rochester,
Minnesota. Let's go with Rochester. Perfect. Well, so what brought you guys into small business? How'd you get started?
Well, we're working for a guy that we were trying to put together a deal to buy part of his business, and over the course of a couple of years, and when it was finally ready to go through, and he pulled out, and we went into our own business.
So you were ready to buy it? You were ready to roll? Just didn't work out?
Yeah, money was in the bank.
You just got cold
We were
feet?
about a week away from signing paperwork, and guy pulled out and said, no, I'm not going to do it anymore. Apparently we weren't his first victim, but...
That's usually how it goes. I'll say that's usually patterned. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
But then Mike was like, you know what? Money's there. Let's just go out on our own.
So what did you spend first? What did you buy?
Pickup, I suppose, was the first thing that we bought. Other than spending money with the state.
Sure, yeah, get incorporated and find a name, that kind of thing. What? Well, I guess let's back up a little bit here. Being the first episode, we don't really know what we're doing. So, but what is ConAg Trucking? What do you truck? What do you do?
Well, it's ConAg Specialized Transport.
Perfect, thank you.
And haul heavy equipment.
Gotcha. So like
construction and ag.
Okay.
That's where ConAg comes from.
See, let's just pay attention a little bit. I'll make sure I get the name of the business right on the second.
Hey, no problem.
We'll work on that. It's a work in progress. So how do you get to? You start with a pickup. What were you gonna haul with a pickup? What was the thought?
Honestly, the reason to get the pickup first was just so that you can have a vehicle to get insurance on, to get authority with the state to allow you to be a trucking company.
Oh.
So
there's a lot of...
So trucking companies don't start with a truck. A truck. A semi. It's you've got hoops to jump through to get that far?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to have authority, and you got to have insurance to get the authority, and then there's just a whole sequence of...
You can buy a truck, but you can't license the truck until you have insurance. You can't have insurance until you have authority. So it's almost backwards. So they make you buy this stuff.
It's a government program, you're saying?
Correct.
Well, we could have just started there. Now everybody understands. Now we have a better understanding. Thank you.
Yeah, they're making you spend your money before you can make any revenue. For a while.
You essentially have like 3 months of overhead you have to have before you can answer a phone call from a customer.
Gotcha. So hence why you were buying someone else's business, because it was already established. All these things had already been done.
Yeah.
Right.
And their revenue numbers were nice.
Sure. So what was next? What comes after the pickup and getting insurance and authorized?
Then bought the tractor, and when I knew I had a date that I could start operating, then I picked up the trailer, and so everything was there the day before I could go active.
Awesome. So getting my cameras figured out. All right. So then, where did you get your customers? Is it word of mouth in the beginning? Were you?
Yeah, I had started with one of the equipment rentals companies in town. I talked to them initially, kind of even before buying things, to see if they'd be willing to use me as a vendor, and they said that they would, and so we went ahead with it. And then between them and passing out business cards on to construction crews that have equipment, and Or just if there was equipment and nobody around, I'd just leave a card or a magnet on it.
Oh, sure. No, that's a good idea. So, do you do much with social media at all, or is that a part of your
No.
business? Something you want to do, or you don't see the value in it?
Probably should. I'm just not diligent about it.
That's our next feat. He's
Alright.
terrible with taking pictures. So, like the last couple of days, I'm like, "Did you take any pictures today?" "Yeah, I got a couple."
Well, my opinion on social media, I mean, it's a great venue, and if you post often, people get used to seeing you, and it's like when you're watching TV or movies. Sometimes these guys are, these actors, their characters are so likable, and you almost feel like you know them after you've watched a few seasons of something, even though you don't. But if you can get that with your customers, that's a huge plus. I mean, to have people feel comfortable with you, or feel like they know you, or feel like they like you, you get that, get a little bit of that, get a little personal, I should say, on the social media, so that customers can see that, and they see what you do and see the reactions of some of your clients. I think there's a ton of value there.
Yeah, there's a landscaping company. The guy that owns it was good friends with my little brother, and he just kind of started his own thing, and he posts every single day.
Yep.
And now, like on these, as seen in Rochester, or
Spotted
Spotted in Rochester, there you go. Or there's one for Casson or whatever.
Yep.
So people will say, "Hey, know anybody that can cut down a tree for me or build me a rock wall?" His name just pops up.
Yeah.
He doesn't do, I don't believe, any radio yet.
Okay.
He doesn't do any TV. It's social media.
Yep.
And he has really grown, especially over the last, I would say, 2 years. Huge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Broadway Car Care, we have a Facebook page, but I post like, we're going to be closed on Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. We're going to be closed on Thanksgiving and Friday. I mean, it's like 7 times a year that I post on it, and that is it.
Yeah.
But we've been there 20 years. Business is good. But now Black Diamond Armory, we had that in my garage for 5 years, and it's been in a retail store now for almost 2 years. Michael manages it for me. He does an excellent job, but he's on social media every day.
Every day?
Every day.
I see
when
it.
something new comes in, and he's very informative. He's very good, and he's smart. I mean, the kid does a really good job of, if he doesn't know something, he figures it out. We've talked about this so much, that you don't shoot off the cuff. If you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't, and you figure it out. But he really, when he finds something new that interests him, he puts it on Facebook. I mean, he's just, along with new products, when something new comes in, if we have a sale, we have yet to spend any advertising dollars. We've never paid for a yellow page ad in that business. We haven't done any radio, television, nothing. Everything's just been social media.
Yeah.
And so I look at that going, boy, Broadway Car Care, if we'd had this 20 years ago, we could have moved that business along a lot faster,
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
By the time I really understood the power of social media, the business was already set. And
Right.
it really didn't need it, I guess. Not that we couldn't use it.
Yeah.
But
the thing that we are struggling with figuring out on social media is, you really, for our business, it's so specialized.
right.
You really got to get the right audience. I mean, it's not, Susie doesn't need her combine moved every other week.
Right.
So it's like, you really got to get the right people to follow the right page. And, he's got a lot of his customers on his Facebook page, but again, we're not posting very much.
Right. So, well, again, I think, that's, you need someone smarter than me to get in there and really make it work. But I tell you, like with Design HQ, Mary does all of our social media for that, and it just amazes me to see the different styles. When she'll post something, we'll do something for a client. I'll take a few pictures of it because I did it, or it was done here. I'll send it to her, and she will research the company. She'll find their Facebook, she'll find their website, whatever, Instagram, whatever they've got going on, and she'll figure out what their business is, and she will throw sometimes 3 to 20 hashtags on the social media post that relates to either their Facebook, their business, their website, their clientele, what people are looking for with that client. I mean, and the amount of hits that she gets, it's crazy. It's just crazy. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, it's amazing. It really, I love it. But I just kind of hand it off. She is so good at
Right.
it.
Whatever you're doing is working.
Yep, right. What you're doing is working. So, but yeah, so I think the social media side of it's a big piece.
Yeah.
So, was it gangbusters from the day you opened? Was it quiet?
Wouldn't that
happened?
be great?
Wouldn't that be great? You know, I bought a timer. I should probably use it. I didn't even start it.
Gosh, time is just flying.
Did I,
Feels like we've been talking
did I
for about
mention this is
15
the
minutes
first
or so.
episode? Did I mention that?
It's
That's,
already been a full wrap of the clock.
yeah, I'll be damned. How long have we been going? I don't even know where it tells me that. Oh, 10 minutes and 32 seconds. And we're off. So we started at 10 minutes.
Perfect.
So, and just to let everybody know that's listening, our goal for these podcasts is going to be that 25 to 45 minute episodes. We don't want to bore everyone to death, but we'd like to share some fun stories and some good insight on small business. That's really what we're all about. So, back to the question: was it gangbusters when you opened the door?
No.
Was it?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, it
So-
was. It's been a slow trickle.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're still doing it.
Still doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's ramped up. But like Mike said, talked to a couple of the local people that he already knew and worked with, the rental companies.
Yep.
One of them was like, yeah, we'll use you all the time. Absolutely. Kind of a lot of lip service.
Yep.
Never held one thing for him.
Yeah.
Never one.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, thanks. Because we were kind of banking on that a little bit.
Yeah, we had a similar thing with Broadway Car Care. We were looking at buying an alignment rack just like the first year after we opened, and they were expensive, and we weren't prepared for it, so we thought we're going to hold off a little bit. Well, then we had a body shop in town that same thing, lip service. He was a big body shop, everybody knows him, very popular, and yeah, we need a good alignment. If you guys have an alignment rack, we'll bring you 2 a day. I mean, we'd run through a lot of cars. We'll have at least 8 a week, at a minimum of 8 a week, but probably more like 2 a day, 10, 12 a week. So that was really what put us over the hump, because we wanted one, we just didn't spend the money. So we spent the money, and we did one the first week after we had it done. We did 2 for them the second week after we had the alignment rack.
That was it.
That was it. And they were in and out quick. The alignments are spot on. It wasn't like we had issues like we didn't do it right, things like that, or we made them wait all day for it, anything like that. It went just like it was supposed to. And to be completely honest, to be fair, buying an alignment rack was one of the best things we did at that point in our business. But it just sucked to, like you said, lip service. I love that, because it's like, yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, we gotcha.
We gotcha. Yeah, we'll keep that thing busy.
Yeah.
It's like, if we hadn't been able to be successful on our own with it, yeah, that would have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
Just a nightmare. So,
Yeah. On the other hand, the other rental company told us, I think it was, I don't know his exact position, GM, said, well, we have loyalties to this other company, so you might not be eating lobster, but you won't starve.
fair enough.
And that's exactly how it's worked, and they've given us plenty of business.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
Well, and part of that comes from you too. They don't know what to expect till you work for them, and if you do a good job, I mean, you give them what they expect, they'll take care of you. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
so you take everything with a grain of salt. You just got to throw it at the wall and see what sticks sometimes.
Right. Well, and that's part of being a small business. So many things are word of mouth, and so many things are verbal, and you can't bank on any of it. I
No.
mean, you just I hate to say you can't trust people, because it sounds very, terrible. I mean, really, let's be honest. It's very paranoid, but it is. You if you can't do it yourself, you can't do it because someone else wants you to do it.
Right.
I mean, that's a hard lesson to learn. I mean, like I said, we fell into it to the tune of, we spent $40,000 on that alignment rack, between the rack and the head unit. I mean, it was 43,000, something like that.
Yeah.
And that was a lot more than we really wanted to spend at that point in the, because, we started that business. We didn't go to a bank. We didn't borrow a bunch of money. We didn't, You know, wasn't like we took out 6-figure loans and just started. You know, we started on a shoestring budget. We started with cash in our pocket and a little lint and moved forward.
Dang.
You know, so that's why that alignment rack was a big decision.
Yeah. Wow.
And that was one where I look back on it now going, what the hell was I thinking? I mean, you can't buy something because someone says
Yeah.
they're going to support you, they're going to use it.
Yeah,
know?
you wouldn't do that now.
No, you wouldn't do that now. No.
You need like 8 people to say that they're gonna.
Yeah, so you have one.
Because if
to
3
count
of
on.
them are one of them.
Right.
yeah, you need 8 to get one.
Right.
That's my opinion. That's probably a little grumpier than I was 20 years ago too, so that factors in a little bit.
Well,
but,
you know, you get. I'm worse at it than Mike is, but you just get a little bit bitter.
you do.
Like,
You do.
and
Yeah.
you get. I don't want to say cold, but
Jaded.
We're on the internet. You can say fucking cold. Well, I guess you don't have to. But
yeah, you just kind of give everybody the side eye. Like, that sounds great.
yeah. Yeah.
We'll see where that goes.
Right. Right.
I'm just going to stay over here and keep doing my thing, and if you do what you say you're going to do, then great. But
Right. That's well. That's like I say. You know, you've got to. We were very fortunate that the alignments started pouring in with our own work. I mean, we were. If we treated that alignment rack like its own business, you know, the shop, obviously our shop was its biggest customer, and then I started thinking, you know, just because he didn't follow through, I mean, how many body shops have an alignment rack? I don't know. I'm not a body shop guy, so I started calling body shops like, "You guys have an alignment rack?" No. Who do you use for your alignments? They tell me. Are they doing a good job for you? Because if they are, they don't need me. You know.
Right.
And so it's like, well, you know, keep me in mind because we a brand new rack, which at the time it was state of the art. Which alignment racks, you know, machines have changed a lot over the years. I mean, they still do the same job, but they've changed how it's done. But you know, suddenly you start kind of going, well, he made me a believer. I thought he was going to bring us all this stuff, and he didn't. But it's like he's using somebody. So we started kind of find out a lot of these alignment or a lot of these body shops, they don't have alignment racks, you know, especially the smaller ones. So then you start showing them that, you know, it's a fleet customer and you're going to take good care of them. And then it turns into, and then when people are calling them just saying, hey, I need to do this, just go down and talk to Jerry, you know, and Broadway will take care of you. And so all of a sudden you're getting their work, plus they're referring you to their clients, you know, also. And that's, I'm sure, same thing for the rental company. I'm sure they refer people to you besides just, besides just using them yourself or them using you with themselves.
yeah.
Yeah, because their shop managers given my name out a number of times to customers that had customer-owned machines in theirs shop for service or repairs.
And you got to get them there. You can't just cruise them down the highway. Yep. Yeah, that's it. You know, you got to show your value. You got to show your worth. Absolutely.
You got to work for it.
Yeah, you got to work for it.
The magnets that Mike started out with and just slapping them on machineries at construction sites, those have paid for themselves thousands of times over.
Yeah, that's something that simple. You know, just something that simple.
It's just got our logo and a phone number. No address, no name, or no personal name. You know, just the company name, and they get in their machine and they're like, oh yeah, I got my skid loader the other day and I gotta have it moved. I see there's a magnet in my machine now. Yeah, thanks for calling. How can we help?
Need a little caricature of Mike going.
Right?
Well, the magnets work out good because everything's got a metal dashboard.
I was just going to say that, with the equipment side, right. You don't have to.
It's not like a car where it won't stick to the aluminum body or to the
right.
To
and
the
it's not a sticker,
leather wrapped
so you're not
dashboard.
wrecking anything. You're not not being intrusive. If they don't like it, they can pitch it, and yep. You're not being intrusive. No, that's a really good idea for that. Good. So you know what? What do you want to tell us? What do you want to tell everybody about the business? You know what? What's a good client for you? I mean, obviously the rental company is a good one, but I mean, who's a good client for ConAg Trucking?
Anybody that needs equipment moved.
Okay. Okay. So any construction companies
under 65,000 pounds.
Okay. So there's a limit to what you can haul.
Yep. My trailer's rated for up to 70, so I say 65.
Sure.
Just for balancing and weight purposes.
Sure.
But yeah, anybody, combines, field sprayers,
I suppose, but the agriculture
excavators,
side.
loaders.
Okay.
telehandlers, booms. That's
All the way down
most
to
of what I do.
lawnmowers.
All the way to the lawnmowers. I heard you've got a gooseneck for that.
Yeah, we sure do. Half the time it comes home on a semi, though, because that's coming home anyways.
So we had a chat earlier before we recorded about a gooseneck. So we want to talk about the ups and the downs of business. So tell me about this gooseneck. Tell me the significance of what we were chatting about earlier.
Do you want to tell that, or you want me to?
Go ahead.
So when we were first starting out, we bought the F-350 and a gooseneck trailer because we thought, we can haul a lot of the small stuff with that. We don't need 2 semis. We got a semi with the agriculture trailer. Let's get a gooseneck, and then we can haul your scissors and smaller stuff.
Sure. Yep.
And it was not a cheap purchase. What was that thing?
14, I think.
Oh, I thought it was way more than that. So anyways.
It would be today.
It would be today.
Yeah.
We've really only used it a handful of times. But we really thought that was, we're gonna move a lot of stuff with this. It came in handy when a local business had a leak in their building, and the pass-through that they used, they could no longer use, so they hired us to haul their stuff that was coming out of one manufacturing part to the other side of the building to take it to the other side of the manufacturing. We did that for weeks. That was a good money maker. Couple months. Yeah. That was a good money maker.
Sure.
But that's the best use we got out of it. Otherwise, it hauls the lawnmower home.
Sure.
So It was probably a purchase that we really thought we needed, and I don't think we really needed it. We've contemplated selling it, but yet, it's paid for.
Right. It's paid for. Yeah. Yeah. But what's that? I mean, how old is it? 6 years? Same as a business?
Yeah, we bought it brand new.
So, I mean, it's probably worth more now than it was when it was new.
Probably.
I mean, the way the market is, it's crazy. So, but that's the other thing you've got to look at. If you go to buy it back a year from now, you just take a bath on it. So, yeah, it's like you said, it's paid for. So,
and you got to.
Well, it's paid for, but I still have to put plates on it every year for a few $100 and insure it, and so.
Sure. Oh, so gooseneck's different than just like a little utility trailer when it comes to licensing.
Yeah.
Is it because of weight? Is it?
Probably.
Yeah, I guess I don't know that. But yeah, well, so there's an argument for it either way. So you're saying that wasn't a great purchase at the time. Fast forward 6 years to today, what would you do differently if you guys were discussing buying that gooseneck? I'm assuming you wouldn't buy it today, but what changed from then till now? I mean, obviously you haven't used it a lot, but I mean, do you research things better now than you did then?
Yeah, I think so. Because when I talked to Mike about, why don't you use the gooseneck, it's more efficient, or it's just as efficient to use the semi versus come back to the shop, park the semi, get the truck, get the gooseneck, go back. He goes, I might as well just hit it with the semi when make it part of the route.
Sure.
It's not any more cost effective fuel-wise to use the pickup than it is the semi, so it just sits there.
Sure.
Well, and then if you wind up an hour away dropping something off and there's something else you could bring back, but if it's too big for the little trailer,
right, there's that. Yeah.
Now you got to drive back an hour, switch trucks again, go out, get it,
right,
and bring it back.
Does that happen a lot? Where you're out and about and all of a sudden you stumble into another job?
Occasionally.
In a sense. Okay. So that's a consideration.
Call. I mean,
they'll call when you're out already, and right now you got to go back home. Yep, got to go swap trucks or back to the office and
there's
swap
a
trucks.
number of occasions I get a text message middle of the day, I'm going to be late. But yet in the morning when he's left, he's got one load on the books.
Sure.
So then it
be a short day.
Yeah.
Yep. Go out in the morning, short day, come home late because the phone rang.
Right.
Yep. There again,
that was Friday. I started out with one quick run over to Mankato and back, and then it turned into La Crosse and Mankato and Albertley and Albertley.
That's a big jaunt. I mean, from Mankato to Rochester, and all of a sudden to La Crosse and Albertley. That's a big swing for a day. So
what was it earlier in the week? I got the I'm going to be late text, and he was started in La Crosse, went to Mankato, and didn't you go to the north side of the cities, and then had to go down to Apple Valley, And then, was it back to Rochester then?
Yeah.
But then you had to deliver in the morning.
Yeah, because they would have been closed by the time I got down there anyway.
So that was a day that was going to be, I only just got this to do in the morning, and it turned into a whole big circle.
Sure. But that's part of being a small business too. I mean, you've got to be flexible. You can't, this whole, well, we're 8 to 5. It just doesn't work that way.
No.
It's just not if you're good at it.
Right.
Not if you care about your customer and you're looking to make a living. I mean, it's just
Right.
that 8 to 5 thing. Not when you're a working owner. That's the other thing too. It's when do you decide that you own a business versus own a job? Because that's a thing too. That's a thing too. Because when you own the business, but you don't own the job, well then you can be 8 to 5 because you've got people doing your things.
Right.
But you got to be good to your people. You can't expect them to work from 8 in the morning till 10 at night either. I mean, now some folks like that. They like the hours. But you got to know your audience, whether it's your employees, your clients. I mean, as a small business owner, you got to wear a lot of hats.
You do, and sometimes
they don't all fit.
No,
they don't all fit.
And the people that sometimes you hire to work with you or for you have a different opinion of what you ought to be doing.
Yeah,
and that's a tough one. First guy we hired him before we hauled one thing, and we had one truck. We're paying him to drive a truck, and then he was mad because Mike wasn't driving a truck. Mike says, well, I pay you to drive the truck. Huh? Like, as long as your paychecks are cashing, what's it matter what he's doing?
right,
He's paying you.
right.
But he wanted to stand at the shop while Mike was out. I'm like, no. No.
But now, do you recognize years now? Fast forward 6 years, when you vet your employees or when you're explaining the jobs to them, and it's hard, as a small business owner, a lot of friends want jobs.
Yeah, we just ran into that.
Yeah, that's another tough one.
Yeah. And we thought we did a good job. Sat down. This is what we expect. This is how this is going to run. You're going to be busier than Mike.
Yeah.
And we had fears of him going back to a previous job, and he's like, oh, no, absolutely not. I'm never going back there, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden the dollars kicked in, and he left.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Training's expensive, too. If you bring in someone that doesn't know the job well enough. Now, because yours is a little different, I suppose, a CDL. It's not like you can't hire a 17-year-old to just walk in and start rolling, obviously. So, but that's another thing, you're training folks. That's, for a small business, that's a big expense, and it's risky because, like you said, you spend all that time training and not really getting production, not getting your money back, assuming you're gonna, get that back over time, and then they leave.
yeah.
That's tough,
Yeah.
and there's that argument of, did you treat them right? Was it you? Was it them? Yeah, I mean, there's all these things that you have to worry about, and I hope over time that people listening to this podcast see what small business is all about. I mean, the toll it takes on the owners. Not looking for sympathy, just saying, if you're a person who loses sleep over things they can't control, maybe being an entrepreneur is not your thing. It's like, if you're on the fence of, do I want to start my own business, or do I want to buy a business, work for myself or not? We always joke about the wealthy business owner, come and go as you please. That's always the American dream.
Yeah, you own your own business. You got money, or you can do what you want to do.
Yeah.
No,
you can sleep
because I have to answer to my customers.
Right. It's like, you're right. I can sleep in. I can take a long lunch. I can leave early. I can do all those things. I can also go broke. I could also lose my house. There's all kinds of things that we can do as business owners.
Right. Back to that first employee that we had, we had the office at home. So Mike was oftentimes doing office work. Sometimes starting at 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, try to be the shop around 9. Well, then he got flack for it. Well, you don't even roll in here till 9. Yeah. I'm also answering my phone at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
What are you doing at 10 p.m.?
Right.
Sleeping.
Right.
So there's a whole lot of misperceptions out there.
There is. It's tough now. Nobody wants to work.
No.
I mean,
they want to have a job.
Yeah, everybody wants a job. Nobody wants to work. And nobody is probably a little too broad. I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of good people out there yet. But but there's a lot of not good employees also.
They're getting harder to find.
It is getting harder to find. It's getting harder to weed them out. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Was there any other stories you guys want to share on ConAg trucking, or anything you'd like to tell? I'm going to say the listeners, but I'm going to say the listener for now because I don't know who's out there yet.
Hi, Heather. I know one of the things we talked about before we came in was just being a business owner is not for the faint of heart.
No, absolutely.
And you just have to keep going. So just recently, it seems like, the old saying, when it rains, it pours.
Mm-hmm.
It's still happening.
The bad luck is still happening?
It seems to be.
What now?
Well, I still have this slack adjuster still got to be replaced.
Anyhow, a couple weeks ago, the truck that he mainly drives, the Mac, broke down. Took it to the shop. Can't get parts, so it's still sitting. It's been 3 weeks. So he jumps in the Pete. Not used to the Pete. And so and he doesn't. It's not as comfortable of a truck. So he's a little annoyed by that already.
And no air.
And no air conditioning.
Oh.
It's 90 something.
I was going to say, we should mention it's been 90 something here for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's hot, humid, it's gross. Ugh. So he ran out of gas. Truck drivers shouldn't run out of gas. But I don't know the logistics of that. But
it wasn't out of gas. One tank had drained down because the fuel hoses are probably screwed up. But one tank still had half a tank in it.
But it kept trying to suck out of the empty tank. So
Sure. So you ran out of gas, essentially. I mean, right.
Yeah.
Even though you weren't empty. Right.
Right. So he's on the side of the road. Lo and behold, a customer of his drives by. But nice enough, gave him a ride to Quick Trip. You only get two gallons of fuel. It's not enough to get the truck going.
Sure.
So then he has to call said competitor to bring him fuel. That was fun.
Yeah.
Which was the employee that left for said competitor. Anyways, he gets going. Next day, within the next couple of days, he was supposed to be headed to North Dakota.
Yeah.
Does his pre-trip, he's got a nail in the tire. Okay, goes down. He's got to sit an hour and a half to wait for tires. In the meantime, somebody else local calls. So he was planning on leaving for North Dakota around 11. He didn't leave till like 3.
Oh.
So that was an overnight trip regardless, but still got a way much later start to his day. And then what happened? Oh, then so did the North Dakota trip, gets to North Dakota, little rink-dig town. It's a day cab, so he goes to a hotel, no rooms. So now he has to sit bolt upright in this Peterbilt overnight with no air. Gets back from that. I don't know, maybe 2 days later, I get a text, like 10:30 in the morning. Where's the best place to buy a cell phone? Is it Verizon or Best Buy? I just ran this one over. And that thing was just a shattered mess. And you were loaded.
Yeah.
Well, the truck was loaded.
Right.
I should specify. He wasn't loaded.
He wasn't loaded.
The truck was loaded.
Well, it sounds like he had plenty of reason to get loaded, but that's just my opinion.
So, and then there's a brake issue with the Pete and this whatever slack adjuster. I am not that girl to know those things, but it just one after another after another, and so many people, again, small business is not for the faint of heart, will just be like, this thing is nickel and diming me. I got to throw it in the air. I'm done.
Right.
Well, you just get up and you keep going.
Yeah, you can't knee-jerk reaction to things. It just doesn't work like that. No.
And he's the calm. I'm the storm.
Yeah.
For sure.
But you need both of those too to make it work. I mean, you do. You've got to have some passion to go with the calming. Yeah. Yep. It goes both ways. But yeah, but you're right. I mean, if like I say, I'm hoping that folks that listen to this, I'm sure as time goes on, we'll get the wannabe entrepreneurs. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean people that want to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
They're on the fence for whatever reason. Hopefully some of the interviews we do, some of the episodes we do can help people jump off the fence. It doesn't matter which way they go. If they go for it, they go, being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. So it's one of those things where I would love to encourage people to be entrepreneurs, to do their own thing, to get out from underneath, that W-2 employee mentality. But on the same token, the world needs employees too. I mean, these businesses that we're running, we need employees. So if being an entrepreneur is not for you, then find a good company, find a good employer, and stick with them. Give them what you've got. Again, be a good employee and watch them be a good employer. And take care of you. And if they don't, remember that.
Yeah.
it goes both ways. If you're going to be an employee, you need to be a good one, but you need to work for a good, supervisor, employer, owner, business.
Yep.
All those things. It's you don't have to own your own thing to be proud of what you do.
No.
There's never apologize for having a job. But not everybody that wants to be an entrepreneur should be. That's not my decision. I'm not the one to make it. It's not up to us. All we can do is control us. But you hope that you could kind of help people, point them in the right direction. You want everybody to be successful if it's possible.
Yeah.
So, but no, I appreciate you guys sharing your stories with us. And we'll see if this, we'll listen to this and we'll look this over. And if it's terrible, we'll redo it.
Deal.
Perfect. Any closing comments? You want to throw a little bit for ConAg Trucking? Tell people how to get a hold of you and get some business?
ConAgDispatch@gmail.com or 507-272-3130.
All right. You heard it here, folks. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time. Have a great night.